Well, it is debate night in Philly. And listen, the stakes are high as former President Trump and Vice President Harris performances could provide a make or break moment in this razor tight race. Expect the former president to paint Harris as a flip-flopper who's too progressive. The vice president, a former prosecutor, will make the case that Trump is dangerous and a threat to democracy. NBC's Alice Barr is live with what we know tonight at this hour from Philadelphia. What are you hearing right now, Alice?
Christy, well, there is just so much on the line with this debate. You know, there are a few windows when people really tune in, getting closer and closer to Election Day. Some of them may not have really engaged up to this point, may not have watched the conventions, but they may likely watch tonight. It's the first time that Vice President Harris will be on the debate stage for a general election presidential debate, the 7th for former President Trump. And that right there is key. Voters think they have a lot more information about Trump than Harris, and she's hoping to change that.
As former President Trump and Vice President Harris prepare to meet for the first time on a Philadelphia debate stage, each is looking for a breakthrough moment to shift the neck-and-neck race.
How are you feeling?
For the vice president, no bigger stage to reintroduce herself, as new polling shows more than a quarter of those surveyed need to learn more about her.
Hopefully she gets some tough questions and then can answer some questions, and maybe I can change my mind.
The former president's task, many allies and supporters say, to keep his cool and focus on policy.
What he's going to do and how he's going to do it, and stay away from trying to pick Harris.
In mock debate prep, sources tell NBC News the Harris team zeroed in on ways to try to needle Mr. Trump into an outburst and studied past debate clips. He largely kept his composure during the Trump-Biden debate that turned the race on its head 75 days ago. Previewing his approach today, former President Trump telling NBC News Vice President Harris has changed all her policies over the years and is no longer believable. He'll look to cast her as both more of the same and too far to the left in attacks over immigration and the economy. The one-time prosecutor preparing to push back.
We should be prepared for the fact that he is not burdened by telling the truth.
Supporters hoping she'll take the former president head on.
I want her to fact-check him if she can, or challenge his untruths.
While working to defend her record in the Biden administration and define her own path forward.
A quick reminder on some of the rules for tonight. There are no pre-written notes, and despite objections from the Harris campaign, there are going to be muted microphones while the other candidate is speaking. They think that's something that's going to help former President Trump. He won the coin toss, so he's going to get the last word of the night. Christy?
You know, you mentioned how many people are still wanting to get to know her and haven't made a decisive decision yet. Is there any gauge, Alice, of how large the pool is of people who are persuadable?
Huge question that a lot of people are trying to figure out. You know, in a variety of polls, I've seen numbers somewhere around the 10%, but I don't know that that tells us enough. You know, I mentioned that there are people who may just now be plugging in to the election, and there's something that's being termed low information voters. It's people that maybe they wouldn't even consider themselves undecided so much as they just haven't really gotten engaged, and they maybe don't even necessarily always vote. We know that former President Trump has specifically been targeting these voters. It's something that certainly Vice President Harris is going to want to do as well. And again, tonight may be just one of those rare opportunities when some of these people that are low information voters, otherwise not, you know, following every little drip and drab, they plug in tonight, and it's just a huge opportunity for both sides.
Yeah, because those low information voters still vote. Alice, thank you so much.